It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good afternoon, 27th of March 2019. It's a 2 minutes past 2 CET time. Piotr here, and this is the New York market coverage for Light Forex on their Global Light Forex YouTube channel. So again, good afternoon. It's afternoon in Europe, morning if you are in US. Anyway, let's start with risk warning. There are a few interesting things going on, but as usual, risk warning, that's the important thing of our meetings. Anyway, guys, please bear in mind, trading FX with margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investments. So please again, be careful and don't try to lose the money you cannot afford to lose. All right, so that's the key point here. Anyway, that's the risk warning. Let's have a look what we have on the market. Again, first part, usually the afternoon meetings, there are 3 parts. The first one, we are gonna go through the majors. We are gonna to wait because of the time shift in US. We are gonna to have within the first part, we are gonna to check what is going on during the US cash open. Then we are gonna to have a small break at the top of the next hour. Second part, we will check again what is going on. If there is no market movements, then we will have a time to check what is going on different assets. And third, finally, we can try to check some cryptos as well, as there is some kind of the movement into the end of the quarter. Overall, what is important, guys, the thing here you have to be aware of, first, at the same day, the upcoming Friday, there is an end of the quarter, there is an end of the month, end of the week, of course. So the flow related to the end of the quarter is going to be dominate, right? Especially later today around the London fix and around the US close because of T+2 in relation to the FX spot market, right? Then tomorrow and Friday, still the flow related to the end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the week. So we may see at some point some strange movements, not necessarily in correlation to what we've seen few minutes ago or few hours ago. All right, we spent some time yesterday trying to discuss Kiwi, and to be honest with you, I was, based on the chart, I was quite positive, but we had discussion that it's better to sit and wait, to take the sit and wait, to be on the sit and wait mood. And looks like market was trying to to be a front runner ahead of the RBNZ based only on some good GDP numbers. So what we get, it was quite huge surprise, the dovish sound from the RBNZ, right? But that's not the end of the fireworks related to New Zealand dollar, as tomorrow 9 p.m. CET, so right at the US close, we are gonna to have RBNZ governor or speak. So I remember in relation to Aussie, to Canadian dollar, I remember we had a strong move after the rate decision, and then the comment statements were like 180 degrees opposite to what was going on, and we saw the move turn around and movement towards the opposite side. Overall, I like a bit Aussie Kiwi, so the neighbors fight, and we were discussing in yesterday. So if there is a time a little bit later today, I'm going to try to get back into Aussie Kiwi pair, right? So what is going on? The best action during the London session was dollar yen, and probably it was we wouldn't be able to make the better explanation exactly to what happened in dollar yen during the London session. And what is important, we were talking about this scenario at least 12 hours in advance. So we try to visualize dollar yen, right? So what we were waiting for on dollar yen? We were waiting because of the strong move we were discussing on the hourly. Do you remember? That was the supply, possible intraday supply. We were talking about that. Okay? But as it was strong move into that supply, we were discussing, okay guys, let's have a look what is going on when we are gonna to see the pullback. Another attempt cleaning the stops above this high, previous high. That's what we've seen. It's a classic stop hunting we had today during the London session. Even better, we hit the target to the very peep. We hit the target to the very peep. All right. So actually, that's the good thing. So congratulations if you are able to test it on demo account, because again, guys, that's our first month here, right? And we do have the meetings sometimes every day, day after day, sometimes every second day. So it's hard to say that we met 20 times already, okay? And that's still some kind of the introduction. As I mentioned, in April, together with Light Forex, we do have the plan to try to also create some webinars within the webinar room, where I'm gonna to try to explain the strategy I'm using. All right. So that's quite important thing here, I would say. All right. Then once you are gonna to get most of the informations, right, out of the strategies I'm using, you are gonna be able, maybe if you like it, to try to with very tight risk. As I mentioned, my risk is very, very low, right? So once you are gonna to once you are gonna to get what I'm doing, right, you might to predict what's gonna be my next step. We are not doing the signal service here, right? You are not gonna get by here exactly, stop here and target here, right? What I'm gonna to try to do here is to share what I know, right, with you. So in that case, I'm not gonna be afraid that once we have a meeting, we are gonna discuss some kind of the plans, and we are ending the meeting, that you are living on your own. No, because once I'm gonna to share information, then you are gonna be able to try to predict. Okay, we were discussing this, that, this. So probably this, that, and this is what I have to check, for example, right? I'm also doing. We are testing right now, so it's hard to say that I'm doing. It's just testing, trying to set up everything in correctly within this Light Forex social trading platform. So then, in April, or once we are done with all these setups, I'm gonna to provide the link as well. Anyway, okay. One more time, it might be useful very, very quickly, because yeah, some may wonder. Yeah, it's like, yeah, plenty of different colors. I explained already a few times. Each color represents different time frame, right? So quickly, let's try to remind it. Let's try to remind you particular colors. All right, so let's start from the higher time frame. And guys, if there is anything with red color, it might be the zone, it might be the horizontal line, let's say. All right, it might be dynamic trend line as well. And if it's red color, meaning that's related to the monthly chart. Why this differentiation of the colors? Because, you know, I do prefer day trading. So sometimes as a day trader, I'm getting lower. Finally, I'm landing at the 1 minute chart, for example, right? To try to execute the scenario based on a higher time frame. And then, not to trying to be lost, right? If I'm gonna to see red color on the 1 minute chart, I know that there is some levels, zones related to the monthly chart, right? So especially if I've got the setup to the opposite side, I may try to rethink if it's worth to try to go in, right? Or maybe I'm going to try to have the minimum exposure I can once I'm trying to trade against the, for example, monthly chart, right? Usually what is going on monthly chart is very important when we are getting closer to the end of the month, right? We can almost whole month or 20 days we can trade against the overall move. Then last 3-4 days, one or other side is going to take the advantage and will move the market the way they want. That's how it looks. So red color represent monthly chart, and I'm gonna to have it everywhere, even on 1 minute chart, right? Then next, weekly is represented by the blue color. All right, so boxes, lines, dynamic lines, channels. If there is a blue color, there is a 99% of the chances that it's related to the weekly chart. All right, and again, landing lower at 1 minute or 5 minute charts. If I'm gonna to see the blue color, then I know where am I and what is based on, right? Then daily, it's a green. Daily, it's a green. Boxes, zones, lines, dynamic lines, channels, whatever. And then finally, intraday. That's the most important from my perspective. It's everything related to yellow, orange, dark orange, all this yellow, orange colors related, right? Even we are using some kind of the purple or magneta from time to time. Anyway, all those, yeah. Colors are related to the intraday chart. Okay, so then I know where am I, and I can try to compare. All right, green is above, orange is below, so it's better to have it, let's say, short setup or whatever. Anyway, of course, anything from the higher time frame is stronger than anything from the lower time frame, but some, let's call them educators, maybe are trying to put too much into the higher time frame, right? Especially from the day trading perspective. As I mentioned, the monthly chart, most important is when we are getting closer to the end of the month, right? And similar from the weekly perspective. Not necessarily daily. Anyway, that's how it looks. So we had this nice setup on the dollar yen. So I would say I wouldn't be surprised if there are gonna be any kind of the move right now on dollar yen. What I mean by that, yes, as I mentioned, it's end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the week flow related, right? So on one hand, one can argue that the yen might be stronger because of 31st of March, because of the end of the fiscal year in Japan, all right? And that might be just a bit of the truth. Another one can argue that because of the T+2, they are done on the spot with yen. One can argue that because of that another test of 110 or zone related to 110, there might be some kind of the first verbal intervention from the Bank of Japan authorities, or even a little bit of activity on the market, right? Trying to use the friends from different banks to trying to hold some certain level. So, the truth is that we are trying to hold above this early created late New York Friday during the Monday. We are trying to hold above the range which has been created late New York Friday, beginning of this week, right? So that's exactly what we discussed. That was one of the reason we were looking for selling, because we had some kind of the supply doubling the range. It was clear here once we reached that level. So yeah, there was a just wait for some kind of the stops and try to take the advantage of this, right, of this price action. So strong move to the downside, retest the top of this broken range, all right? So now either we are gonna to, because finally we moved the whole, I don't know, what was it, 50 pips to the downside. So we may see either continuation. In that case we are gonna to, we can agree, not agree, some supply here being consumed. So if market is stronger and we'll try to make similar size to the upside, move of the similar size to the upside, right? We are gonna to test another possible supply we were discussing, and we have it here above 111.20, right? Otherwise, we are still may try to consume something around 110.75. Right? We may see another attempt to break it higher. We may even try to place this line through the tops, two latest tops, right? So what you want to see here, because we may discuss this tops, we can even try to, yeah, we can even try to do that way. Taking into the consideration what we've seen from last, taking into the consideration from the left side, sorry, what we've seen here within this swing high over here on this 1 hour chart, right? So market may want to try attack one more time, right? So trying to visualize possible short setup, and again, all the scenarios we are discussing here, which are from me, you are testing on a demo account for now or doing the paper trading. Anyway, if we are gonna to get clear break, then 11.20, 20ish, that's the possible target, right? On the other hand, and then the swing high over here might be the target, and that's the yellow, the whole yellow zone. Anyway, we may also try to, or different words, another words, I do expect the supply might be still active here, right? But what I would like to see on the early or 15-minute chart, and then trying to take the advantage going lower to 5 minutes or 1 minute, is that I would like to see that the market is trying, right, that this attempt to break higher, okay, but we are gonna to end up with the higher shadow. So we clean the stops above the line, above another high, today's high, okay, but we are ending. That might be immediately short setup. Would be good to have this close of this particular candle we are trying to visualize. Would be good to have the close below the most recent high over here from today, or even below the close from this London Open, right? That was it? Yeah, London Open, or hour after the London Open. Anyway, for now, because of the price action during London session, this one, there was a attempt to rally. So all this rise once was broken, that looks like short accumulation, right? When there was a seller's intentions in that particular move was not to show what we are doing, right? Of course, we are not gonna to see that, and we can just to think about it when it's done, but that's enough for us. And then there is a question how we are gonna to try to read this stuff for us, right? I would prefer, because of it's possible, before I'm going to try to sell it again, yeah, I would like to see some more manipulation, because there is a good reason to manipulate the market, especially with us. End of the quarter flow will dominate today. All right, so that's how I see dollar yen during the day today, and that's what we are gonna to try to watch, and the moves we are trying to catch. Okay, so just 1 second, let me check some services, news services. Okay, so that's the dollar yen. Let me, as I mentioned, let me check the services. Plenty of them are pound related. Pound, yeah, some time ago, at the very beginning of our meeting, right? Am I right? Retested the pound. Pound is great, moving in between the Monday, Tuesday ranges. Yeah, but I didn't have a time to look at the pound as we started our meeting, but whatever. I think I saw the schedule, expected indicative votes timeline. Yeah. Of course, the timings are approximate and are subject to change. But that's how it looks, based on the information from the UK House of Commons. That's from Twitter. So let's have a look if we can. No, that's Okay, let's try. That's not gonna work that way. 1 second. One more time. That's the first part. That's the second part. In relation to the pound. That's few more informations Brexit related. That's something new from 2 minutes ago. And it's thanks to Daily Mirror Political Editor. That's full. Daily Mirror Political Editor. All right. Okay. There is some wrestling going on. All right, that's all about the Brexit. We also had some news like trade balance out of US and out of the Canada. Out of the US, better than the market expectations. Out of the Canada, weaker than the market expectations, right? So it might be, especially the better US data might be the case of the current dollar pump or pump under dollar pump. Okay, just pop. Okay. Any interesting stuff over here? Not necessarily. What we are waiting for today, later today, is the crude oil inventories. There was a API private data yesterday. Let me try to find for you. That was up yesterday as far as I remember. And we are gonna to try to check the oil later on, right? All right, so that's it from the news or news related stuff. Nothing extraordinary here, so we can go forward. All right, so we discussed dollar yen, we know where we are, so let's have a look what we have on the pound side. Pound side is trying to trade over under based on this intraday chart, 15-minute chart, which is clearly visible. All right, trying to reject the Monday high. But let's start from the higher time frame. Let's start from the higher time frame here. What I like here on the pound, is that yesterday we respected previous day high low, right? And today we respect yesterday or previous day high and low. So we are trading within clear range. And what is even better, that there is the size of that range. When you are wanna double that range, it's gonna give you something above, a little bit above 33, which is, as you can see, red line, meaning that we do have some kind of the supply related to the monthly chart, and then a little bit higher as well. And if you are gonna to try to double that range into the downside, then we are gonna to touch 31 levels below 31, which is some kind of the demand based on the daily chart, based on the a little bit lower time frame, right, compared to the monthly chart. So on the hourly, there was some kind of the late New York, Tokyo, at beginning of the Europe. There was some movement within the downward channel. Once been broken, it was the move to the downside, the bearish scenario was cancelled, right? We are still moving within the range. As you can see, we're trying to fight with what happened on Monday high, right? Yesterday we took out Monday high, and today we are trying to take it out again. Of course, there is some kind of the supply, but we know that all this Brexit related stuff and pound is moving like out of the nowhere, right? Like the rabbit from the head, right? To the upside or to the downside. So we are gonna to watch. Just watch, maybe don't touch. Anyway, if there are gonna be some kind of the interesting setups, I may try. Now, similar to the dollar yen, there is a line through the stops, and there is some kind of connection between this intraday line and the red monthly line. So in that case, right, from the intraday perspective, this triangle might be worth to watch, right? So it's some kind of the dynamic zone over here. That's the one thing from the intraday perspective. Okay, and that's something I'm gonna to discuss with you during the webinars, sharing some kind of the strategies based on some kind of the swing approach. But there is a nice possible supply over here, and it's also related to what we just noticed based on this. So that's how it looks from the pound perspective. If we are gonna to take out current range, and the range looks like taking into the consideration just open and close, more or less, boom, exactly to the target, right? So looks like there is a logical place eventually for the possible supply on the pound. So I wouldn't be surprised trying to, again, same way as on the Kiwi dollar, let's say, right? That the market will try to front run, will try to hit some stops one or another way, all right? Looks like they may want to try to hit some stops to the upside here. Of course, to the downside, as I've mentioned, levels closer to 31 and below 31 as possible demand if we are gonna to make the turnaround here and trying to break the low. Overall, as long, and that's the key point, as long as we are staying inside that range, that's obviously we are doing the range trading, right? It's almost like discovering America. Am I right? Okay. And finally, by the way, this dollar yen been published on my Trading View channel as well, and hopefully guys from Elite Forex will allow me to share all these details. So, but that's what we are gonna to try to solve in April, right? It's still the introductory for the whole March, but March is coming to the end this Friday. Anyway, as we are approaching the first break towards about euro dollar, we hit very interesting levels from the higher time perspective. There was a possibility to try to figure it out, try to find some kind of the megaphone formation. It was even confirmed with this move within the channel and with this very nice tiny lower shadow over here. The close wasn't great, to be honest with you. The first close here was not that great because it was the lowest, right? But then on a smaller time frame, there was a possibility to try to join the market a little bit different way, trying to take the advantage of the possible market manipulation. That's what we are gonna to discuss as well during our meetings in April. So no worries, you are gonna to get all this stuff I'm talking about, and there are gonna be Q&A session as well. So hopefully you're gonna to be able to, your takeaway is gonna be as big as you can. So hopefully that's gonna work that way. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm not aware it's not gonna work. Okay, euro dollar. So where we are from the higher time frame, I'm gonna to have make spring cleaning sooner or later, maybe this weekend. Maybe this weekend, maybe. Anyway, what we did and where we stopped and why all this stuff I'm talking about took place. Okay, so there are few levels I've been watching. One of them was the high from the 8th of the March, right? Look where we stopped, at least for now. The high from the March. There is one more level. I think we may see the bounce once we get there from the bull's perspective. But guys, I would be very careful to try to chase the dollar here. Some simple approach like size of the move, right? Suggest another wave of stops to the downside is possible. We got back below pre-ECB high. We on this Monday we're trying to escape from here from the bullish perspective. Looks like bulls are, at least for now, giving up. On the short-term time frame, when I was doing the morning meeting in Polish language, I've been talking about the possible intraday trap, and yeah, actually that worked out, this intraday trap, and I even was able this time to be on the right side. But anyway, that's the story. That's nothing to discuss here. It might be some over here. I'm gonna to delete this channel. It might be either a test of the channel or might be over under compared to this Tokyo low, right? I like this approach. Or we are gonna to take out all the possible stops, right? So let's watch what's going to happen. Let's wait till the top of the hour. So the first part came to the end. We are on a short break, going back at the top of the hour.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Okay, welcome. That's the second part of our today's meeting. We are gonna to check the indices within few minutes. We are gonna to wait for the official EA data in relation to the crude oil. But let's start. There is a we are still trying to hold this quite good level on euro dollar. It's gonna be contrary approach, but if I'm gonna to see some certain move, certain behavior, looks like we're trying to hold this zone based on this 1 minute manipulation point. I like this 15 minutes. I like this 15 minutes. Three lower shadows over here. I wouldn't be surprised if we are gonna to break to the upside within this 15 minutes candle. So I like this candle over here. Hopefully I'm not gonna miss. But let's wait, let's watch what is going on. And if I'm gonna decide to get it in, I will explain you. I will try at least explain the way of my thinking. So let's watch for a while. Guys, but what is important? That's the some we are around some significant levels from the daily chart, right? So just and we do have this over under on the hourly. So just don't take me wrong. I'm not doing the analysis based on the 1 minute only. I'm trading. I'm just using this 5 or 1 minutes for execution only. Would like to see some things on a smaller time frame, but the logical but I assume it as a logical place from the higher time frame. Hopefully that's clear. So where I may try to get it in, I may try to get it in here, for example. 1-to-1 move to the downside and trying to retest this order block on. I know it's just to be perfectly clear, right? It's not based the entry is based on 1 minute, but the whole thing. Why I'm looking at this from the long side is the thing that it's a logical place from higher time frame for bulls to trying to step in and at least push it higher, maybe towards the supply we were discussing yesterday, towards 113. Options expired, so we have a time till the London fix, right? So let's watch what is going on. In the meantime, I'm going to try to go through some news. Current account weaker out of the US. Then we do have this weakening on the pound, and we do have dollar yen trying to go higher here. That's what we discussed previously. But let's have a look what we have on euro pound as well. What we have here is this all double bottom. It might be some case for that might be some case for squeeze here. So how the first, yeah, that's the we need one, two, that's the third 15 minutes candle. We're trying higher but low upper shadows. And if you remember, yesterday we were discussing the possible supply based on what we've seen to the left over here. There you go. Just don't forget we do have something higher as well. That's what we discussed. So anyway, it was the strong reaction yesterday, but we are trying to hold some levels from the daily. Anyway, watching euro. So stocks overall trying to hold this maybe over under on this 30-minute chart. If not, based on this triple bottom, rally to supply, but that looks like bulls may have some hard times over here. But guys, end of the quarter, they have to show something to their clients, right? So they are gonna cry, they are gonna pay and trying to push it higher. Then the beginning of the second quarter might be a little bit weaker here. Anyway, let's have a look what is here and just let's give them a few minutes more. Just a reminder, the line over here is based on the 15-minute chart, and that's the 3 lower shadows we are creating. Maybe we are not gonna get the higher high right now. I mean the higher shadow, I'm sorry. But who knows? It looks like it might be some trying to challenge this one. Some kind of the triangle over here. I'm telling you, they will, at least they will try. I'm not saying they will succeed, but there's gonna be success. That's what they have to take out on the 1 minute chart. Yeah, I know how it sounds, but if you know how the algo operates, then you probably understand what I'm talking about. And the pound is getting weaker and weaker, and that's here might be even the better choice. Let's have a look what we have on 15. Wow, that's nice. What we need to take out. Let's have a look what we have at here. What we are testing? We are testing possible supply based on the previous demand. If we are going to take out retest and squeeze, might be the case. So yeah, that might be the case why euro is trying hardly, but there is no luck on the bull side right now, as of now at least. They may try to move via euro pound. Okay. Let's switch back to 15 minutes. It was close. I've mentioned that that's gonna be higher shadow here. They may try. They still got the 1 minute to go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Low is 49, so the stops is gonna be below 45. Yo, didn't I tell you a second ago when this candle started that it's not gonna happen the way some guys were thinking? So 3 lower shadows, and yeah, there is no lower shadow. High 60.03, 60.03, so it's like double top, but it's no lower high, and it's still 20 seconds to go. So that might be the case. The stop should be under 48 for sure, and who knows if it's not better under 47. In that case, everything below 57 might be from mathematical perspective good long setup. Well. What's the close on 15? Nice. Candle entry. What I'm afraid of there's only one thing I'm afraid of the most is London fixing, right? So even if we are getting this hour, yeah, probably I will try to be very aggressive in case we are in the money. Not yet. Okay. Trying to build swing high on this pound, on this dollar yen. Pound trying to, after the over under, trying to retest weekly open, blue dotted line. Shadow doesn't look good yet. Eventually, what I'm going to target, there is a still valid supply above 13, and eventually that's the final target for euro dollar final, right, for this intraday setup. Eventually, if I'm correct here. I'm not gonna to target what, you know, somewhere in the space, moon, how we want to call it in crypto space. But still, if I'm going to manage to have a stop smaller than 10 pips, so I just need 30 pips, right? That's gonna be like 3R, and basically, frankly speaking, that's gonna be like, based on, let's say, entry here, that would be 87 as a target, 30 pips, so still a space till 1305, 1315. Oil, based on what we discussed, again, there is still some kind of the space to the upside based on this inverted head and shoulders. I like this 60 as a strong supply level. And but I think that we might see retest of this previous consolidation over here, retest of this consolidation before 63. So I may look for, especially the dollar is still strong, I may look for fading around current level. It used to work last week. It used to work yesterday, it used to work today's morning. So we may try to see some stop hunting to the upside ahead of the or during the EEA announcement, and then sell off towards at least 58.40, 58.20 based on the chart I'm using, if not lower. We'll see. And we were talking about this possible demand over here. Still fighting. Fight. The move on the euro dollar, it might be related to the euro pound. We hit the possible supply, trying to pull back. It might be the retest here. Oops, from the higher time frame. We tested nice demand over here. There you go. So that's where we are within the higher time frame. It's one of the reasons I like it here. I'm not the huge fan of the pound currently. And euro is trying lower. I haven't seen what I've been looking for on a little bit higher. Maybe this one over here. Here we do have nice intraday stop zone. Such a beautiful. Towards weekly open, the levels we were discussing, 1305 higher. That's nice. And if we are gonna to treat it as a, if everything gonna be fine and we are gonna to treat it as a range break, then we may see even higher levels, as we discussed, this green zone based on the daily. That's what I've been waiting since yesterday. That's what I've been waiting for since yesterday. Okay, we are approaching the levels. I've been interesting, so we are watching. Okay, so we are getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and then bam, stop out. The thing is, that's what I've been trying to explain previously, right? I like, with my very tiny exposure, I like the very small distance between entry and the stop. Still not interesting here. I'd like to see maybe the first opposite candle. We'll see. So you know, I'm not afraid to take few stops even in a row, right? Because from the exposure perspective, that's what I've mentioned. It's if it's a 0.1%, right, and I have 4, let's say 5, let's say in a row, that's 0.5%, right? I'm not risking 5% per trade. So after 5 trades, someone is down 25%, and that's what you may find in within some social media, that whoa, 5% per trade, yo. And then is after 2 trades you are down 10%, sweating, hand shaking, and you have a problem to make another trade. They took out the levels, in my opinion. They shouldn't, so I may reconsider this. Yeah, I don't like what is going on right now. Let's get back to the higher time frame. That's why I like very small time frame. I can see what is going on, and yeah, let's get back and see what we have here. It's still, we may try to take the low compared to what we've seen 45 minutes ago. That might be this over under. We may try to finish the unfinished business over here. I'm quite, to be honest with you, I'm quite surprised based on these 3 lower shadows than this. Yeah, but we still can get the very long lower shadow, still 5 or 4.5 to go. Anyway, where we are here, there you go. There is some gap to close in between now and the low over here, 66. That was the reaction into that order block, as you can see. Yeah, the thing is that's what I've mentioned, what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of end of the quarter flow. If we are going to close above previous 15 minutes low, that might be positive as well. Now it's the first opposite. And as we didn't make lower low, that might be the case for small tiny longs. And the stop is gonna be 44. So 10 pips stop, 30 pips, 85 the first target. Ah, sorry. That's the long. 44. So I do have like 10 pips. Let's have a look what is going to happen. And 84 gonna be 84 gonna be target. So at least 3 are okay. The weakening pound, it's not the great thing. It may, yeah. But let's have a look what we can get here. As I've got the really very tiny exposure, I may try to get the advantage of it here as well. And we are awaiting EA data. Aussie dollar is giving up everything. It looks nice here for short setup based on where we are from the higher time frame, of course. In case of the break to the upside on euro pound, I would prefer British pound to stay around the weekly open, right? And then move to the upside on euro dollar. That would create the euro pound breakout. Oh, EA, ouch. But they are gonna to take some stops most probably. So what kind of a stops might be over here? But that was taken out already. I'm talking about this supply, possible intraday supply over here. Okay, let's have a look on a smaller time frame what we have and where. That was this. Move lower. But still we can get this over under over here. We are taking right now. We are fighting here right now, and there is a rejection over here. Well. I don't know. a little bit more complicated for me than euro dollar. A little bit more complicated than euro dollar. It might be just over under, so we hit the supply earlier and we are trading over under over here, but look what they were trying to hold after the data. This manipulation to the downside over here. Smart guys. Okay, we're trying to hold euro around current level and moving pound to the downside, and doing this we're trying to break to the upside on euro pound, as I can see. So we are trying to hold euro dollar, but still exposure is so small, so we can add something on euro pound. So pound right now, it's, yeah, the weekly open been crossing since Monday many times, right? It might be that we are going to target at least bottom of that range, and in case of the break we may try to approach figure lower, like 31 level. Yeah, that might be the case as well. In case of the break down in oil, someone is watching oil. That's gonna be first possible target, most probably, and there is a breakout. Sorry, breakdown. And we should hit first target very quickly. What's going to happen below that's order block over here? I would be very careful. From the higher time frame, we do have this demand, and look, the measure of the breakdown sitting, the final target sitting nicely within this possible demand. Of course, I'm not interested in this demand, not at all, but the measurement and the trying to figure it out what's gonna be the first target works perfectly fine here. But what doesn't work is euro dollar. Yeah, it happened. And now we are trying to use this zone on the euro pound as supply. Jeez, plenty of complications. Doesn't look good. Another round of stops, but so we've got 44. So yeah, we survived this first attempt to move lower. Nice retest on oil, 1 minute. That should be right now the stops below the most recent lows are gonna be under pressure probably within the next few minutes. If I'm not mistaken. Still nothing going on Nasdaq. But looks like if we are gonna to have a little bit weaker sentiment, I'm watching dollar yen. We may try to retest even the weekly open at 110. And to be honest with you, as it's Wednesday, we are gonna have 2 more days. And on one side, this end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the week flow. With end of the fiscal year in Japan, that's the one side. The other side, especially during the Tokyo session, either verbal intervention or maybe even market intervention. Central bankers will try to step in. So either, I think we are going to see first some more verbal interventions from the Bank of Japan authorities. We'll see. Because under 110 on the dollar yen, especially if it's gonna be end of the quarter, end of the month below 110, especially 109.70, that might be significant development. I would like to see on this euro pound, I would like to see this nice something looks like, but we cannot call it straight double bottom because it's not the bottom. But yeah, this I would like to see those two lower shadows and attempt to break higher within till the top of the hour. Anyway. That's the break time for us. We are getting slowly into the another break. There is a pound sell-off going on right now. So yeah, hopefully they will try to break. So if there are gonna be strong pound sell-off, probably euro will follow. Not in that strong fashion, but anyways, our stop is gonna be under pressure. We'll see. But now there is an attempt to break higher, keeping pound below the weekly open, trying to recover on euro dollar, so trying to get through this possible intraday supply on euro pound. All right, so going for a break. We have our stop in place. Looks like they wanna try again. We are going to get back right around the top of the hour. So it's time for water, coffee, tea, whatever. Non-alcoholic drinks only.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
All right, let's try to summarize our latest meetings. All right, of course, it's gonna be easier for them right now to move higher on euro dollar. Yeah, looks like buy to the pip, right? They took out the 10 pip stop on the long euro dollar. So here I'm down 1 R. We were discussing dollar yen yesterday, and the setup took place today during the London session. There was a 4-5 R, depends on how did you approach. So overall it's not bad. We also discussed the oil, and oil hit the first target to the point, right? So in that case we are good here as well, but I haven't traded oil, just to be perfectly clear. So I'm not gonna say that another 1 hour or something like this. Anyway, we do have attempt to break down on Nasdaq, right? And looks like we may want to revisit 7,270 based on the chart I'm using. So taking into the consideration price action based on the yesterday supply. So congratulations, because we hit supply after our meeting. And we may try to revisit the earlier mentioned level around 7,270 based on my chart. Actually, during the normal market condition, I mean, we know that end of the quarter flow will dominate the market today. Under normal market condition, mid of the week, mid of the month, mid of the quarter, whatever, I would probably trade both oil and trade this setup on Nasdaq. I do prefer majors, euro dollar, dollar yen, pound dollar, than some crosses like EURUSD. So that's why I took the advantage of the dollar yen setup and euro dollar today, but euro dollar didn't work. But when there is a comfortable situation, I don't have a pressure like I have to chase the performance. If I'm quite okay, then I'm trading other assets from time to time as well, right? That's something we are going to discuss in April. Now, another very important thing is that we have another low on euro dollar, so that looks good, and but we are still trying to fight with this supply on the euro pound, right? That's also quite interesting. But right now, let's have a look what we have, where we have the next level on euro dollar, and the next level on euro dollar is this low from the 15th of February, right here, over here, and we are talking about something around 12.33. So let's watch this 12.33. Okay, 12.33, there you go, and just below 25 and 20. So maybe that could be the case. Anyway, going back to what we were discussing a second ago. The question of the pressure, not the pressure. So yeah, my 1 hour here, the loss on the euro dollar was 0.1%, right? So I'm not gonna have any kind of the problems to try to reopen, to try to trade maybe another long side on euro dollar, right? Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is that once you are afraid about what is going on with your position, means that you are over leveraged, right? So take the size, position size into the consideration when you are trying to trade, when you are trying to invest, because once you are afraid of the position, means you are over leveraged, right? So that's the key point in my opinion. In case you know what you are doing, there is no way trying to use the much smaller exposure. There is no way to to be pressured by the market. Also, what is important within times like this particular 3 days, end of the quarter, month, week, right? If for some reason your whole month or whatever you are measuring your performance, quarterly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, if you had good time, there is no reason to try to chase the market within this last 3 days when we have all three end of the quarter, month and week at the same day, right? There is no reason, especially the T+2 right now, it will go on towards London fixing and towards the US close as well. So that might be some unexpected move. So if you then you may give away half of your hard work, because then you are gonna to be challenged. Okay, now it's gonna be revenge trading. Let's go for it, right? No, that's not how it works. Also, opposite. If you had bad quarter, month, week, whatever, and you're trying to chase the performance into the end of the particular period of time, then for sure you are not gonna get it. Maybe different way. You are gonna to get it once per 100 or 1,000 times. Meaning that instead of recover something, you are gonna to add or double the loss for the particular period of time, and that's what I'm telling you from my experience, right? That's I think that's how it works, and that's the life, right? I wouldn't say that I'm not doing the mistakes. That would be, yeah, I'm still doing the mistakes. I'm trying to learn from that mistakes, but of course not that often as some time ago, but still. Anyway, euro dollar, another low. So now depends on the price action here, or depends on the price action around 33 and then 25.20. Pound, too soon to call. Not now. I would say that the range, still trying to take the advantage of this weak range. Dollar yen, looks like we are red on the Nasdaq. Looks like we are the bulls are giving up here, so looks like we took the advantage of this supply from the 1 hour chart, and there is no way, at least for now, with the retest of the today's high and maybe trying to make the last kiss. Bears are trying to take over, and again below today's low. Really, we are opening the way towards the figure, psychological figure, and 109.8070. So be careful here. Breaking down, we are going back below the original range. In that case, 109.25 might be in play. Aussie sell-off, strong, I would say. We hit supply yesterday, intraday supply. and we giving away everything, but we are not right now. We are testing possible demand, but I would say the market is going to take the so what's the easiest measurement? This move, haul to the downside, this one, and we have these stops I've been talking about taken out, and this over under might be in play towards the levels below 70.50. If that's not gonna happen, if that's not gonna stop the bears, then again we may expose psychological 70 and few pips below towards 69.80. Okay, that's how I see Aussie. Looks like the yen bulls right now trying to take over on the market. $124.25, $124.30 right now as a first intraday supply here. That's, yeah. And just a reminder, we have a 45 minutes. We have a 45 minutes, 47 towards the London fixing. So there might be some strange moves right now. So be careful out there. As we have few minutes more, and just a reminder that our next meeting is on Friday, 8 a.m. CET time, so right pre-London Open, all right? So you are more than welcome to join our Friday meeting. And now let's try to have a look what we have on the crypto side. And here we go. Bulls trying one more time into the end of the month and the end of the quarter, but basically what we've been discussing yesterday, we need to take out 4,200, 4,400 based on the chart I'm using, right? So we are within the range, as you can see. Let me make it bolder for you. Yeah, that's the range. All right, and we are trading within that range. I would say that in case we are gonna to take out the earlier mentioned levels, okay, 4244, okay, then if we are gonna to double the range, then 5,000, 5,200 psychological level, 5,800, 6,000 breakdown point. So again, if we manage to close above 4,200, 4,400, we may see the rally towards the, if we are doubling the size of the original range, we may see 5,000 psychological, 5,200, and above this, the breakdown point 5,800, 6,000. All right, just make the note. To the downside, which I don't expect now. If we are gonna to break through 3,300, we may expose psychological 3,000, then 2,500, 2,400 level, right? That's how it looks from the Bitcoin perspective, medium term, in my opinion. Ethereum. That's what we discussed this channel, along with this possible demand, along with this trend line. All right, we were discussing possible demand around this level, and we have attempt to break higher. That looks good. Now, the high from the 16th of March, it was the reaction into the supply we've seen to the left side. I would say once we are gonna to take out this 107 and bulls will manage to close above, we may see retest of this supply around 162.50. Once we are gonna to take out this zone, then untested 80.87 might be in play on Ethereum side. All right, let's switch back to FX side. Euro is trying to recover, pound is trying to recover, but again, I don't know which move right now is gonna to be trap move, right? We are still 40 minutes into the fix, so they can make, the manipulators, they can make two rounds, one round to the upside, then the round to the downside. They can make this, you know, vicious circle move, and yeah, we are gonna to end up with the headache and losses once we are gonna to try to chase the market right now. That's my opinion. Yeah, that's how the things looks like for now. Let's have a look if we have something on the news side. 55 seconds ago, based on the news from Guardian, Prime Minister needs 320 MPs votes for her deal, so she needs 303 out of 313 Tories, 10 DUP, 7 Labour and Independent, who have already backed her deal. Unless she gets more Labour abstentions or votes, she can only afford to lose 10 Tory votes. Alright, so that's based on what we get from Guardian. Let's have a look if I can place it. No. A second, let's make it different. So that's all about the, probably that's, yeah, some algos went through that and trying to push pound higher. There are plenty of different plans going around, rumors, leaks. Nothing extraordinary. All right, so guys, be very careful out there. You know what kind of the times right now. End of the quarter flow is dominating the market. So London fix, then end of the US session. We may see some strange moves, so be careful out there. Still, tomorrow, Friday, end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the week flow relation. Today it's overall related to T+2 on spot. All right. Have a great rest of the day. Wish you good luck and see you Friday morning right before London Open. Have a great day. Take care. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.